Joining me right now, we have Democratic Congressman from Massachusetts, Seth Moulton. He is a member of the House Armed Services Committee. And Congressman, I don't know if you can see the screen. My director was just putting up the foggy conditions there. So it stands to reason why it's really hard to locate, particularly if you're in a dense forest area, a helicopter. But talk about the implications if this chopper crash is as serious as it appears it could be.
Well, first of all, I think we'd know. We'd probably have heard from the helicopter if it hadn't crashed. So assuming that it did, there's going to be a lot of speculation about foul play, and there will be speculation about domestic foul play because obviously the Iranian regime has a lot of problems at home. A lot of people are unhappy with how conservative they are. But of course, there will also be speculation about foreign foul play. And we really have got to withhold judgment because the whole situation in the Middle East, but especially surrounding Iran, is very tense right now. So let's let cooler heads prevail. Let's find out facts before anyone takes rash action. Yeah, no, 100%. It certainly is a powder keg of an area. Let me just add, though, that we know the president has been briefed on the conditions, probably not that much more than what we know at this point, again, because of the uncertain terrain and the difficulty actually reaching any possible crash site. So we'll hold that Alex, for now. But go ahead, sir. Yeah, I'll just say you could see how foggy it is. I should add that while there will be a lot of speculation, the most obvious answer here is that the helicopter just crashed in the fog. Yeah. And again, it has been described as a hard landing. There were some erroneous reports that I'm going to refrain from reporting because we've not confirmed them, and they did appear on state TV that would appear to make things okay. I'll just classify it as that. But it's Iranian state TV, and you know that is the initial message they're going to put out there. So let's move on, sir, to the situation in Gaza with National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan, who met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in Israel today. He's in part trying to urge the Prime Minister to limit its operation in Rafah. But 800,000 Palestinians have already fled after evacuation orders. We are seeing widespread destruction in the area. Here's the big question. Does the U.S. actually have any influence over its allies' actions at this point? Well, I mean, we do. We've had a lot of influence over our allies' actions, including Israel's actions historically. President Reagan withheld weapons from Israel several times when he didn't like what they were doing at the time, back in the 1980s. But the reality is there are limits on how much influence we have. And, a lot of us, myself included, have been calling on Netanyahu to have an end game, to recognize that he's in a counterinsurgency fight, so he has to protect civilians, not allow so many thousands of them to be tragically killed. And he obviously hasn't been listening. Now his own cabinet is revolting against him, calling for a political endgame to this situation. This is exactly what the administration has been saying for a while now, which some of us who have counterinsurgency experience from Iraq or Afghanistan have been saying literally for months. So, a lot of people want to criticize the administration, but frankly, his own war cabinet is now saying the same thing. 100%. We were reporting that yesterday with Benny Gantz and saying I think they're giving the Prime Minister 3 weeks to come up with an end game, or there is a threat of a massive walkout of cabinet ministers. Let me ask you quickly, though, when it comes to withholding weapons, again, the offensive weapons that President Biden held back, you think that would be an effective deterrent based on what you saw during the Reagan years? Well, I think it certainly caught the Israelis' attention. And the weapons that President Biden has held back are massive bombs that, really have no place in urban warfare like this, lead to dozens and dozens of civilian casualties almost every time that they're used. So I think it was a sensible decision by the administration. I do think it's catching the Israelis' attention. And it seems like they're finally listening to things that we've been saying for literally months now. Okay. Let me ask you quickly about Ukraine, with the New York Times and Wall Street Journal reporting that it is requesting that the U.S. lift restrictions on the use of American weapons to strike targets in Russia. Now, Ukrainian officials have also reportedly asked the U.S. to provide intelligence to identify targets in Russia. Are either or both a non-starter for you? No, I absolutely think that we should allow the Ukrainians to target what they need to target to protect their country. And what's happening right now is Russia knows this rule that we have imposed on them. First of all, it's just not a great idea to tell the enemy all your rules. And as a result, they're massing Russian troops just across the border from key Ukrainian towns and cities. So this is a huge handicap that the Ukrainians have. My suspicion is that it will be lifted eventually, but we need to lift it right now so that Ukraine can defend its freedom.
Let me ask you about what you sit on the select committee on the U.S. competition with the Chinese Communist Party, and President Biden, as you know, has imposed these new tariffs on China. Just happened this week. Tariffs on computer chips, solar cells, advanced batteries, and a 100% tax on Chinese electric vehicles. Look, on one hand, that could be good for workers because it makes U.S. products more competitive, but then it also makes goods a lot more expensive. So, end result here. Potentially, does it do more harm than good?
Look, we don't know, but I think that what President Biden is doing is the right thing to protect American workers against just totally unfair trade practices by the Chinese. You know, this is not us responding to nothing. This is responding to the fact that China has massive state subsidies for these industries. They are regularly stealing our ideas, our intellectual property, and then just selling them back to us. And at the moment, there aren't any Chinese EVs being sold in the U.S. market anyway. So it's not like, you know, consumers are used to buying these vehicles really cheaply and all of a sudden they're going to go dramatically up in price. So what the president is doing is targeted. It's in response to Chinese actions where they're breaking international rules about fair trade. And I think it's the right thing to do.
Okay. Listen, you just dodged a bullet. I was, if I had time, going to ask you about the phew of that House Oversight panel and all the chaos that went down. You're probably like, no, thank you. I don't want to talk about that junior high school cafeteria. Anyway, you've passed that one. Thank you, my friend. Good to see you, Seth Moulton.